In this article, we discuss about 3 ways to mitigate the DNS spoofing that comes into 2 forms, which is DNS cache poisoning and man-in-the-middle attack by using the domain name system security extension, DNS SEC, source port randomization, and response rate limiting RRL method.
Domain names identifying string assigned to every relay entity with different type of information. The most notable use of it is in translation easily remember domain names to the numerical IP address required for locating and identifying device and computer service connect to the network. Two forms of DNS spoofing will be discussed here, which are DNS cache poisoning and man-in-the-middle (MITM) attacks. There are three mitigation techniques proposed to overcome DNS spoofing, which is DNS SEC, source port randomization, and response rate limiting (RRL) method.
We review 5 articles for 3 of our methods. First, for the method source port randomization, for short SPR, we review mitigating IP spoofing by validating BGP routes updates by Junaid, Mohsen, and Hussein from University of Ottawa, Canada. In this article, they explain numbers of techniques for IP spoofing detection, the way how BGP, which is a different name for SPR, work, and the impact of the performance on the traffic if SPR is implemented. Second, for the DNS SEC, is DNS Advanced Attack Analysis by Adam from Poland and Ali from the Hashimat University, Jordan. In this article, it said that most IP spoofing or DDoS can be prevented by DNS SEC. We found 3 articles for the third method, response rate limiting, as it's the easiest implementation. This implementation works by limiting the rate the server can accept from the outside network. In all of these articles, including 2 from the last slide, it is said that most organizations is implementing this method because it need to outsource other security organization for the implementation, which isn't ideal for handling confidential data.
For methodology, we chose 3 methods to mitigate the DNS spoofing. The first one, which is the domain name system security extensions, DNSSEC. DNSSEC creates a secure domain name system by adding cryptographic signatures to existing DNS records. By checking its associated signature, you can verify that a requested DNS record comes from its authoritative name server and wasn't authored en route, opposed to a fake record inject in a man-in-the-middle attack. The second one is source port randomization. Source port randomization is a process in which an incoming packet, such as DNS query, is assigned an IP address and or port number other than one implied by underlying protocol. Source port randomization, also known as UDP source port randomization or UDP TCP source port randomization, is recommended if a caching DNS server is running to defend the DNS resolver against spoofing attacks. The third one is the response rate limiting, RRL. RRL has a few drawbacks and restrictions, but it can greatly lessen the effect of DNS amplification attacks that misuse authoritative name servers. According to the concept of rate limiting identical outbound response to the same address or subnet, authoritative name servers would implement RRL.
Here are the results and the analysis for the project DNS spoofing and techniques. Based on the bar graph that we have presented here, it is undeniable that the response rate limiting or RRL uh, is the most efficient way to use when it comes to DNS amplification attacks, as the response rate limiting or RRL is a type of mechanism that limits the rate at which DNS responses are sent from the server. By limiting the response rate, The response rate limiting can reduce the effectiveness of the amplification attacks, but if not configured correctly, it may inadvertently affect legitimate traffic caused by the RRL itself, basically its protocol. Even the United States Computer Emergency Readiness Team, also known as US CERT, recommended organizations to employ such rate limiting with 5 identical responses to the same origin per second. However, CERT unquestioned that some popular DNS servers, notably Microsoft's DNS server, lack rate limiting functionality, making RRL impractical for many organizations. This repeated response to the rate limiting is the only standardized scheme available at DNS server. Nevertheless, response rate limiting is the most suitable method to be used when it comes to DNS amplification attacks.
Ongoing vigilance and adaptation to mitigate traditional DNS vulnerabilities. Three essential methods for enhanced DNS security include DNSSEC, source port randomization, and response rate limiting. The NSSEC ensures the authenticity and integrity of DNS response, while source port randomization reduces predictability and make it harder for attackers to exploit DNS server. Response rate limiting prevent DNS server from becoming unwitting and participate in amplification attacks. This strategy strengthens DNS infrastructure resilience against threat.